Let's be real for a second. We have all been there. You messed up in a relationship, maybe say something you shouldn't have or forget a special date, and you scramble for a way to make it right. Usually a nice dinner or a bouquet of flowers does the trick. But then there's Luke from 90 Day Fiance, Love in Paradise. If there is one thing we know about the 90-day universe, it's that decision-making isn't always everyone's strong suit. But Luke just took retail therapy to a whole new, anxiety-inducing level. In a desperate bid to win back his Colombian fiancée, Madeleine, after a mountain of financial lies and failed promises, Luke didn't just buy flowers. He bought a $2,000 puppy. Yes, you read that right. $2,000. When he seemingly has $0 to spare. So grab your popcorn and maybe your calculator, because we need to unpack this chaotic, adorable, and financially terrifying moment. Is this true love, or is it just an incredibly expensive band-aid on a bullet wound? The backstory. Why Luke is in the doghouse. Before we get to the puppy, we have to remember why Luke is sweating bullets. When Luke first met Madeleine, he projected the image of a wealthy American entrepreneur. He sold her a dream. A life of luxury, successful businesses, and financial freedom. Madeleine, who is incredibly driven and hardworking herself, bought into that vision. She wasn't just looking for a sugar daddy, she was looking for a partner to build an empire with. Then the reality check hit. The money is gone. We found out Luke isn't exactly rolling in cash. In fact, the opposite seems to be true. The business failures, Madeleine's business in Colombia, which relies on Luke's investment, has been struggling, and she feels like he abandoned her professionally. The trust issues, it's not just about being broke, it's about the lying. Madeleine feels duped. She thought she was marrying a CEO, but she got a guy who can barely keep the lights on. The tension has been thick enough to cut with a knife. Madeleine has been rightfully furious, questioning if she can even marry a man who hid his financial reality from her. She's been asking for stability, honesty, and a plan. And instead of a financial plan, Luke brought home a dog. The reveal: cuteness overload versus financial panic. The scene was set up like a classic rom-com grand gesture. Luke knows he's on thin ice. He knows Madeleine is one argument away from sending him packing back to the US, so he decides to pull out the big guns. He surprises her with a French bulldog puppy. Now look, nobody is made of stone. The moment Madeleine sees that little face, her demeanor softens. How could it not? It's a tiny, wrinkly, wiggly bundle of joy. For a split second, the arguments about rent, business loans, and lies seem to melt away. She's cuddling the dog, she's smiling, and Luke is standing there looking like he just pulled off the heist of the century. But as viewers, we weren't just saying, "Oh." We were screaming at our TVs, "With what money, Lukey?" The price tag problem. Here is where the situation goes from sweet to stressful. Luke admitted that the dog cost around $2,000. Let's break this down. You are in a foreign country. Your fiancé is mad at you because you don't have the money you said you had. Your mutual business is suffering. You presumably have travel expenses and debt back home. And your solution is to drop $2,000 on a pet. It brings up so many questions. Is this a credit card impulse buy? If so, that interest rate is going to hurt later. Is this guilt money? It feels like Luke is trying to buy forgiveness rather than earn it. What about the vet bills? A puppy isn't a one-time purchase. It's food, shots, checkups, and travel fees if they move to the US. It's the classic 90-day paradox, claiming to be broke while spending like a millionaire. Will she forgive him? The emotional toll. This brings us to the million-dollar question. Does the puppy actually fix anything? In the short term, yes. It's a distraction. It's a shared baby for them to bond over. It creates a dopamine hit that masks the underlying resentment. Madeleine loves animals, and seeing Luke care for a creature and care for her happiness does score him some points. It shows he wants to make her smile. But let's look deeper. Madeleine is smart. We've seen her handle her business. She's no fool. Once the new puppy smell wears off, the bills are still going to be there. The fact that Luke prioritizes a grand gesture over practical financial stability might actually backfire in the long run. The reality check. A puppy doesn't pay the rent. A puppy doesn't fix a business plan. And a puppy certainly doesn't restore trust that was broken by months of deception. If anything, this purchase proves Madeleine's biggest fear, that Luke is irresponsible with money. She might forgive him for now because, well, look at that puppy's face. But this isn't a solution, it's a deflection. If Luke thinks a Frenchie is going to erase the fact that he missold her about his entire lifestyle, he is in for a rude awakening. Why we can't look away? Why does this specific storyline resonate with us so much? Because it triggers that universal financial anxiety we all have. We watch 90 Day Fiance for the love, sure, but we stay for the mess. And Luke is delivering a very specific kind of mess, the fake it till you make it disaster class. We want to root for them. We want to believe that love conquers all, even a bank account balance in the red. But buying a $2,000 dog when you are allegedly struggling feels like watching someone buy a flat-screen TV while their house is on fire. It's frustrating, it's baffling, and it is highly entertaining television. The verdict. So, will she forgive him? The prediction. She will forgive him for now. The dog is a masterful, albeit manipulative, emotional anchor. It ties them together. She can't kick him out immediately now. They have a son together. But looking ahead? Unless Luke figures out how to turn that $2,000 investment into a stable income, this puppy might be the only good thing left in their relationship when the dust settles. What do you think? Was this a romantic gesture or a financial disaster? If your partner was in debt and brought home a $2,000 puppy to apologize, would you hug them or scream? Let's be honest. We'd probably hug the dog first, then scream.